Okay, today's video is going to be about my upcoming thru hike. Some of you are maybe hikers yourselves, and this is nothing uncommon to you, but some of the people I talk to that have never done anything like this or even thought about anything like this, are a little baffled when I talk about, hiking over 2,000 miles for no reason other than just to do it. So why hiking? What is it about finding yourself alone on a trail? Well, there's definitely the challenge part of it. Can you do it? Can you deal with the elements? Can you hang in there through the bad weather and isolation at times? But it's also an opportunity to reflect. It's as much a journey inward as it is a journey into the woods, across the desert, or over a mountaintop. I just ate Thanksgiving dinner with my sister and her family, and I think a typical family is actually atypical, and I consider myself pretty lucky when I compare myself to others. But my sister and I didn't really grow up in what you might call a traditional family environment. My sister, who is older, left for college just as I had finished the 7th grade. She left for New York as I found myself leaving our mother and starting a new life with a new family and even a new last name. I had moved from Fort Lauderdale, Florida to a rural area southeast of Indianapolis. And up until then, there really was no structure to my life, and I actually enjoyed the freedom. It had been my mother, my sister, and myself making our way, and I was happy with that. It was not my choice to leave. My mother, sister, and I had little contact with each other for the next 30 years or more, and I had a tough time defining exactly what family was. I was on a different path of my own. In 2004, I found myself in Dallas, where my sister and mother had been for the last 10 years or so. But just as when my mother and I were originally separated 35 years earlier, my move wasn't really something that I had wanted, but I'm glad it happened. I was able to spend a lot more time with my mother and get to know her before she died in 2019. I had been planning a trip to Patagonia that year to hike the W Trek. I left for Puerto Natales just a few days after her funeral services. I always blog during my travels as a way to let my students experience the world along with me. After completing the W Trek, I wrote this blog entry. We don't always know where our trail leads. Before I tell you about my great adventure hiking the W Trek in Patagonia, I must tell you this adventure did not go the direction I had imagined. That's good. That's what makes it an adventure. It's the discovery that beckons the traveler. The thing is, sometimes you need to travel inward, into your heart. That can be a tricky trail. As I packed my bags in Dallas, I was looking forward to just getting away and leaving my everyday life behind for a couple of weeks. My mother's funeral had just been a few days before, and I was thinking this trip would offer me an escape, or at least a little relief from my reality. But you don't always know what awaits you on the trail. What's over the next ridge? What's around the next bend? The trail has many surprises. After exploring Puerto Natales, I returned to the hostel where I would meet my fellow hikers. I was looking forward to meeting some new people and establishing some new relationships and not thinking about the ones lost. That was my plan anyway, until I met the other hikers and we all took turns introducing ourselves. I had already introduced myself when a young hiker named Sam stood up and introduced himself and his mother Maggie, who would be hiking the trail with him. Standing next to his mother, Sam's words came like a sucker punch to my gut. Yeah, the trail has its rewards, but it also comes with its pain. Here I am at the southern tip of South America. It would seem as though I needed to travel to the bottom of the earth to more fully see something hidden in my own heart. We all hike our own trails, and sometimes we'll meet along the way. Of course, all our trails begin with our mothers, but my mother's trail and mine would go different directions after I completed 7th grade. Some trails are tougher than others, and both my mother and I had some tough parts along each of our trails. Fortunately, fate would unite our trails about 40 years later with the wind to our backs. My mother and I had a great adventure together those last few years, and these last 5 days have surely been a great adventure here in Patagonia. The trail offered many discoveries, and every step had an amazing view of our Mother Nature. Even when the trail got tougher, it would take you someplace that took your breath away, someplace beautiful, someplace heavenly.